If I had a wooden nickel for every time someone said silver was going to skyrocket, I would get blamed for deforestation. Well, let's chalk up one other prediction now, and this one is a big one. Let's talk about it and what will be the catalyst for this move in this video as we explore. I certainly feel what this commenter has said, a very clever comment, by the way, because most of us are jaded when we don't see these predictions ever come true. Although in this case, there is an out. But before we get to the prediction, I'm going to tell you who made it and why this is important to talk about. Because it is Eric Sprott. He is a precious metals industry titan. And he is very well respected in the space, especially in the mining sector. You probably have heard me mention his name with regards to mining. He puts his money where his mouth is, that's for sure. He believes in these metals. He is 81 years old, and he has a lot of knowledge, which is why part of his analysis on this really surprises me. But I think in a sense, it is sort of the blinders sort of the situation, and with a lot of the miners out there, and they think about the mining ratios, which the mining ratios have absolutely nothing to do with price performance. But notwithstanding, we're going to get into that and some of the reasons why he thinks that silver could rise to as much as $250 an ounce. Now, he did an interview with Kitco at a mining conference and mentioned that silver is going to skyrocket. And of course, we've heard that before, and there's other respected folks who have said that as well. Some of them we can take more seriously than others. But the reason why this one caught my eye and ear is because of the numbers, number one, but also he doesn't give a time frame as to when this will happen. However, the catalyst is really what got my attention as well, too. And I don't know the reasoning behind it. He didn't really give any. In fact, it was such an outrageous and shocking prediction. Just the word skyrocket, that it's going to skyrocket. What does that mean? And what is the time frame? Will it get to $250 an ounce in 50 years? That's quite possible. Will it get there this year? No, it will not. Will it get there in 10 years? Unlikely, unless there is major problems with the dollar. Or something, some sort of the dollar would have to all but collapse in the next 10 years for that to occur, or some other major event. His excuse is what everybody else's excuse is that makes these kind of calls. He blames manipulation, specifically price suppression. And yes, I believe there is some level of it that occurs, but I believe in overall manipulation of the markets. I've outlined it on this channel. J.P. Morgan is famous for it, and there has been a trial and a verdict that has proven that they have done manipulation. But remember, manipulation works in both directions. And yes, the major argument now essentially is the short positions that a lot of these banks take, and that is suppressing the price. And I could see some merit to that. But remember, there's a lot of activity in the markets that are being pulled in a number of different directions, especially for silver. We're frustrated now because we're at a multi-year supply deficit in the industrial space. There is a shortage now in the industrial sector, but there's plenty of this stuff around, bullion, for us to buy, and people aren't buying it as much. And Eric Sprott feels that once people start to buy again, that's going to turn things around. But that mistake was made back during the, quote, silver squeeze movement. See, there's different types of squeezes on the silver market. Number one is a squeeze of silver in the industrial sector, like what we're seeing now. And the other was an attempted squeeze on the physical bullion market on the heels of what happened with GameStop and AMC, and trying to pump those up basically with this squeeze movement, saying, hey, let's buy these stocks to get them to go up, and GameStop and the like. And so people are saying, let's do the same thing with silver. But nonetheless, The silver bullion market only makes up about maybe 25 to 27% of the overall market for silver. It's much bigger than just physical buying. It would have an impact if it was sustained, and buying is picking up again. And one place I buy is Summit Metals. I just placed an order with them recently and got a really cool looking vortex bar. I don't have it here, but they have very competitive prices on silver products, so check out summitmetals.com. But I believe in purchasing a silver for different reasons than just that it's going to skyrocket or some hope that it's going to skyrocket, and when. Now, what I think is interesting about this is that with the manipulation, and then he talks about the mining ratios. The mining ratios are 7-to-1, and he mentions in the interview, and I'm going to link to it in the description below, because there's a lot of, I think, misleading information here, or very short-sighted in his analysis. He says that for many years it was between 13 and 15-to-1. But but depending on where you're at in the world, but those were fixed price ratios. That was where the real manipulation was. He says that the mining ratio is about 7-to-1. So he says it should be there, but the mining ratio has nothing to do with the market price or the value of a certain metal. Look at platinum, for instance. Look at how rare platinum is and the mining ratio of platinum compared to gold. Why is platinum trading at half the price, less than half the price, in fact, about a third of the price of gold right now? It just tells you that and platinum is very rare. Rarity means nothing. It can be a contributing factor, but alone it means nothing in terms of the value of something. And I'm going to prove that point once I get to 100,000 subscribers, because I'm going to show you something that is extremely rare, that has never been seen by anybody else other than me and the organization that produced it. That's it. No one else has seen what I'm going to show you at 100,000 subscribers. But that does not mean it's valuable. Just because it has a mintage of 1 does not mean that it has any more value for anyone, anywhere, anytime. So that's the thing that Mr. Sprott is missing here. And again, he's very well respected. I respect him. He's got a lot of knowledge. So I'm surprised that he made some of these points and used the mining ratio, which I think is a big no-no in terms of using it for analysis. Now, again, he has an out here because it doesn't give a time frame, because I listened to that portion of the interview several times to make sure I got it right. But nonetheless, he says $250 an ounce based off of what some other analyst had said, Michael Oliver, and then some other analyst that predicted double that. Of course, you don't know. I mean, you can put any number out there, and you could say, hey, well, it could happen. I didn't say when, but I think it's in a sense irresponsible to make those kind of calls. And this is where it gets really interesting, folks. Mr. Sprott says the catalyst for this, or the start of the bull run for silver, is going to take off once it hits $33 an ounce. Well, as of the recording of this video, it is about 30 cents shy of that right now. How long does it have to stay at $33 for it to climb up to $250, or to get into a big bull run on its way there? I don't know, but my guess is, well, we've been there before. And we were there last year. It got up to almost $35 an ounce and then pulled back. Folks, make no mistake. I'm sure there's some level of suppression going on. I'll give some of the folks that. But nonetheless, the natural market forces are much more powerful with silver. I know because I watch the prices every single day. And I see what moves the prices. And those things are absolutely obvious. It's market sentiment, it's psychology, and those are the big drivers. This is why I like to be as realistic about silver's price as possible. Will it get to $250 an ounce? Probably not in my lifetime. I'd be shocked if it will be. Probably not in somebody half my age's lifetime either. However, I do think that silver is going to preserve our wealth within our lifetimes, and even sooner than that. In fact, I've seen that play out in my lifetime. But holding silver is a long-term proposition, and it is something that will only be realized for each individual based off of how they purchase it. Because if you're buying silver now at $32.50 an ounce, and then the price goes down or up, you've got to take into account premiums. You've got to take into account other factors that are going to base off of your purchase price and what you can get for the metal way down the road as to whether or not you can preserve your wealth. You know, if you're paying a $3 premium on an ounce of silver and the price only goes up $2, you've lost $1. That's given that a local coin shop would give you spot price for your silver. These days, they're not doing that. They're not even giving you spot price. So think about that too. It's really up to the individual and how you purchase it. You can lose big time in silver. I've talked about that in a video too. But the best thing we can hope for is breaking even with silver. When adjusted for inflation, that's what silver is there for. It is a store of value. It is sound money. And that's what we need to understand with silver. It is not there to make you rich. It is not there to explode in price from one day to the next or from 1 month to the next. If something like that were to happen, by some rare occasion, it would be for a very short amount of time before it comes crashing back down again. We saw that happen 2 other times in recent history. And so therefore, those are not things we should be hoping for, because it's a fool's errand, because we set ourselves up for disappointment. And you know what? We're going to get comments from others that say, silver's not done anything. It's not done anything. It's just been sitting there. It's not done much. When silver has done a lot. It's done a lot over the last couple of years here. 1.5 years. It's done very, very well. And so people see this performance and they ignore it because they're thinking it should be $40 or $50 an ounce right now. So I want to keep everything in perspective, and that's why I do these videos talking about these big gains like this that some people say, even if they're respected folks in this precious metal space. I just think that it's not really good for anybody to make these calls and say, I believe it's going to do it. I mean, he basically says it as a matter of fact. It's not a matter of fact. He doesn't know, and he knows a whole lot more than I know, but he still does not know what's going to happen with silver's price. And neither do all these other analysts who make these kind of calls. So be forewarned, folks. Appreciate silver for what it is. Silver, in a sense, sells itself. When you look at the history of silver and its performance over the years, and its allure and its attractiveness and its ability to withstand all kinds of uncertainty in the market, and geopolitically, through cultures for eons, for generations, for empires, silver has outlasted them all. Nothing has changed with silver, and that's a darn good thing. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.